Welcome back to That's So Nourishing. In this episode, I really want to speak to the identity of the woman who holds it all. This woman who might be you, she knows that she can do anything. She's extremely capable, she's strong-willed, she's dependable, she's independent, she can get shit done, she moves mountains, she can manage all the things in her life. She can look like she's got it all together and like it feels so easy, where she's juggling all these plates at once. She's got her family and her kids that she's supporting and the house and her relationships with her partner and her friends, her own health and her well-being, her career or her business. She's just got it all together. And she is handling one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. That person is who I want to talk about today. Because if you're listening to this podcast, you probably really relate to this identity as well, this woman who holds it all. And what a powerful identity that it is. It can be so supportive and so serving in this life to be that person who can hold it all. Because not only is it so prized in our society, but it's also someone who can really make things happen and can really create what they want to create in their life and mold things to just either work out or go their way, which is such a huge strength in this life. And a lot of times what I notice, and I've noticed this in myself, is that as women who hold it all, while that's our nature and we're always going to be able to hold it all because that's just who we are, a lot of times this can come at the expense of ourselves. And we can lose ourselves in this process, and we can abandon ourselves and our own needs along the way in service to this identity. So I really want us to dig into that today. Last week, we talked about busyness and how that can feel like this badge of honor, how it's so prevalent in our society and how it can really serve us. And how our relationship to being busy can completely shift our experience of it. And we can be busy, or we could be full and have this full life. This identity, the woman who has it all, is a layer deeper. So what I believe a lot of times is underneath that busyness. And so I wanted us to piggyback on last week's episode and really go into this today. Notice as I bring up this term, the woman who holds it all, what comes up for you? What thoughts do you have? What do you identify with within this term? What does it bring up for you? What do you feel in your body? Maybe it's a sense of pride, or a sense of overwhelm and stress, or a sense of capability, or a sense of desire to be more vulnerable or not always have to have it all together all the time. Notice what it is for you. And then think about, why do you hold it all? Is it because you're so capable and you know that you can get things done and that if someone gives something to you that you just got it covered, so why not? Or is it because you like the control and managing things and it feels good to check things off the list and to know that people can come to you? Or does it feel really great to you to be able to be that support system for your friends and family and know that if they ever need anything, that you got them? Or is it something else? What is it for you? This identity of holding it all can serve us in so many ways. We can achieve so much in this life and we can move mountains. But again, I want us to see, at what cost? What is it at the expense of? And if you are someone who holds it all and you absolutely love it, then go for it. Yes. But if you ever feel like this is at the expense of you in any way, or you're losing yourself within this identity, or you can't fully show your full self, we're going to go into that today. And as always, no judgment, no shame. These are all deep-rooted identities and patterns within us. And they serve us in so many ways. And bringing awareness to them and then consciously deciding how we want these identities and patterns to show up in our lives can give us so much agency, which is really one of my big aims to empower you with. So notice, are you consciously holding it all? And does it feel really good for you? Or does it feel like it's too much? Does it feel like you lose yourself a bit in it? Does it feel like you just want someone to hold you the way that you could hold everyone else? Or that if you actually show who you truly are and your vulnerabilities and that you do need support, that everything could crumble down? Or does it feel like something else or a mix of all of that? Just notice what it is for you. For me, this identity is so strong. This is something that, as the oldest child of 3 younger brothers, that I really developed early on. And it's served me in so many ways. I've been able to create such a great life because of it. And it's also felt really exhausting at times, really performative, and it's really held me back in ways from fully showing all of me. From really feeling safe to articulate my needs, or to share that I was struggling, or that I needed help, or to let down this mask that I was so capable and that I could get everything done. And that has been really hard in some ways. Back when I started my business and I had a lot of success early on, I was running a team of like 200 people. And I was just doing all the things. I was running a really successful business. I was traveling the world. I had a great relationship. I was working on myself. I was making sure I was engaged in a social life, all these things. And a lot of people would look at me and be like, how do you do it? I don't get it. I could never do that. And I was like, well, it's just me. I got it. It's easy. And a lot of times it was. And I was really capable. And some things I could do pretty fast. It didn't feel like a big deal. And I liked having that identity. I liked that people felt that I could handle it all. It felt really good. Gave me a lot of purpose, a lot of worth, feeling like I was enough. I got that external validation, that dopamine hit like we talked about last week. It felt really good. And when people needed things, I could get it done. I would be the one people came to. I was like, yes, I got this. But then I started to struggle and I started feeling a bit miserable and feeling overwhelmed and like things were too much. And like I didn't want to handle it all anymore. And I wanted support and I wanted people to be there for me. And I noticed that when I really needed that and I really felt like I needed people to be there for me, nobody was. And I didn't understand why. I wanted to share with them that I was struggling. I wanted to tell them, but I felt that if I did, that the people I shared that with wouldn't respect me anymore as a leader, or wouldn't feel that I was valuable anymore, or that it would mess something up in some way. And that if I asked for support, oh my gosh, they would judge me. They would probably say no. They probably wouldn't be able to do it as good as I could, or their image of me would get completely ruined. It was this pressure that I carried so heavily. This role that I had to play. Maybe you relate to that. You feel like everyone always comes to you, or you have to consistently be the capable one, the one who can do anything. And heaven forbid, you show this other side of you, or you share that you're struggling, or that you need help as well, or that when you did need help, nobody was there because they always thought that you could handle it. Now, why would anyone need to support you? Because you got it always. And this was so hard for me at times. And I felt like I could never fully be myself. It was only when I was in coaching containers or with people that I paid that I felt like I could actually share what I was going through and the struggles and what I was actually thinking and all of me. I didn't actually trust that I could share it with other people and that they would still be there for me. I know that this runs really deep. I've talked to other people who hold this identity and they've related a lot. And so maybe this really lands for you too, which is why I wanted to share my story with this. Because it's taken me a lot of repatterning and a lot of deep nervous system work to really work on feeling safer, letting people know I don't have it all together and that I do want support and being vulnerable. And I'm still not fully there yet, but I've made so many strides. And not that there's anywhere that we need to go or be or do, But where I'm coming from is removing these masks or these identities that we feel like we have to carry and really allowing ourselves to be whole in each moment, to be our true selves, to share our needs, to not abandon ourselves, to really put ourselves first in all the ways, and to trust that who we are in each moment, and if we're not perfect or we don't have it all together, that's enough and that's okay. And so I'm with you here. I am so with you. And these patterns, this pattern of holding it all, like I said, it can serve us so much. And it is so deep rooted. This starts in our childhood, where, especially as the oldest child, or maybe if our parents weren't handling everything in the household and we had to step up, or for different reasons, we felt that we had to be the responsible one. We had to be in control, or we had to start to manage things, or we were the one who could get things done. It was what gave us connection, love, safety. It gave us stability in our homes. And over time, it became our identity. And we started to get praised for it and prized for it. And society really values this. And so we've believed that it's become who we are. And this is a deep-rooted survival pattern that we have. And it's such a beautiful one because it serves us in so many ways. And it can take a lot of deep work to really feel safe, really asking for support and showing who we truly are and what we're really feeling and struggling with, and knowing that that's okay. So if this is you, and maybe this is bringing up some stuff for you now, just know that this is so deeply ingrained, and it is such a wise nervous system adaptation. And there's some really deep-rooted beliefs that tie into this as well. The belief that everything depends on you, that no one can do it as well as you can, that we need to control things in order for it to get done or to feel safe. And a lot of proving can be tied into this. I know for me, there was a lot of this proving energy of, well, I need them to know that I can do this, or I want that external validation, or this unconscious energy of proving I'm enough, proving I'm valuable, proving I can do it. Even when I didn't want to, I had to prove that I could, or proving that I was capable, or that I was strong, that I could hold all of this, versus really showing who I truly was. In my mastermind the other day, some woman was talking about this. She's in her 50s, and she said that she's held on to this identity of the woman who does it all, who can hold it all her whole life. And she was complaining about how busy she is and how overwhelmed she is and how much stuff she has on her plate and how she really wants to be able to rest, but she can't. And when people would ask her, but why do you hold it all? Why do you do all of this? And her instant response, she said, was, I have to. She just felt that she has to. There was no question asked. It was like she didn't even have a choice. This is just what she has to do. She has to do to get to where she needs to go in life, to survive, to support her family, to just be. She just has to do this. And a lot of us, I'm sure, can relate, whether consciously or unconsciously, and notice for your own self. Do you just feel like you have to do this? Like you have to hold it all. You have to do all the things on your schedule or on your plate. And the idea that you could possibly offload some things and get some support or change things up just feels so foreign to you, or just not possible. It's like you can't even see the ways that maybe you could delegate, or maybe you could create some space, or maybe you could say no and set a boundary like we talked about in episode 8. Or maybe that you just could let it all go and just let that heaviness or that holding of everything go. It's like we don't even see it as an option sometimes. And she talked about how for her, it's a big piece of proving. And she keeps coming back to, who am I proving this to? And every time she gets herself, she needs to prove to herself that she can hold it all, that she's worthy, that she's enough. A lot of times we can prove it to others, or proving it to a parent, to society. There's this deep feeling of needing to prove it to ourselves too. So notice, what is it for you? Do you feel like you have to prove? If you sat and really got with it. In this proving, so much of our identity can get fused with this capability. And it's like, if I'm not capable, then who am I? Then what happens? Will I be okay? We feel like we have to be capable. And that can get so exhausting. And the fact that I'm sharing all of this with you today, probably a few years ago, there's no chance that I would have felt comfortable sharing this. I say that to just really show you the continuum where through deep work, we can start to let these patterns go or start to let this guard down if we choose to. You don't have to. But again, just notice how it's making you feel. Because we can fear losing value, losing significance, losing worth if we actually show who we are. I know for me, I looked like I had it all together and like it was so easy and like it flowed. But like I said, I was burning out. I was struggling inside and my body was really showing me otherwise. Constantly be tense. My shoulders would be heightened. My jaw held so much tension. I felt this clenching constantly from holding everything, from managing my life instead of living inside of it. Notice in your own bodies where you maybe feel this too, when you feel like you're holding it all or when you're really in that mode of holding it all. And I felt so alone. It felt like the fact that I had to always feel like I had it all together, it felt so isolating. Like no one could really be there for me and no one could really know the true me. And that felt so hard. If you feel that way at all, the reason why I wanted to do this episode and really share all of this is because I want you to know that you are so not alone. That I fully see you and that so many of us hold this pattern. So many of us capable women who look on the outside like we have it all together, like we're getting things done. So many of us feel this way. And like I said in a previous episode, in the obstacles episode, what's personal is most universal. Oftentimes when we feel the most alone, so many of us are going through the same thing. We're just not sharing it. So I really want to shed light to this identity, to the shadow side of it in this episode so that you can really see how you are not alone in this if you are feeling this way. Because I know for me, when people shared that on my journey, as I was starting to really open myself up to being more of me and to showcasing more of all of me and the vulnerable parts of me, it was really supportive to see that when we're really in this pattern. Even asking for support can feel so scary because if people know we need support, then what? Will we be okay? Will we still be seen as capable? Will we be seen as enough? Can we show them that side of us that we need help? And then there's this asking for support. And then there's actually being able to receive it. Can we actually let someone help us? Or do we feel like, well, maybe it won't be as good as I could do, so we'll just do it. Or maybe we don't want to burden them. And we don't want to ask them for that. Or what would it reveal about us if we actually receive support? And it could feel so uncomfortable. And so starting to notice your own relationship to support and where that lies and how that can feel. And maybe how it's hindering you and the support and the connection that you're really craving. Noticing when you ask for support, maybe you delegate something, but then you monitor it and then you correct it. Or you feel like you could do better. So this can show up in your business. This can show up at home. Maybe you ask your husband to make dinner or to take out the trash or to clean something in the house. But then you just critique them because you feel like you could have done it better. Or they did it wrong. Or your kids, you have them do something. You try to release control or not hold it all, but then they mess it up. And you're like, oh my gosh, I should have just done it myself. Or in your business, you try to delegate different tasks, but then I've had this happen where I'm paying someone to do different tasks. And I'm like, I could have done this better. Why am I paying you? And it can be the most frustrating thing. But it's like, we don't want to hold it all, but we're so good at it. So what do we do? Yet we at the same time, the paradox and the juxtaposition is that we want the support. And so how do we start to allow that support in and slowly start to allow us to be held and to feel supported? It can feel like we're always the one doing the holding. We're always the one holding everything together. But who's holding us? Who's got us? Where can we rest into? A lot of times it can feel like we can't because we won't actually allow ourselves to. Not even consciously, but unconsciously. For me, for the longest time, one of my greatest lessons has been really leaning into trust. Trust in the universe. Trust that there's something greater. Trust that if I don't handle it, that it can get done just as well. Or that it can get done and I don't have to worry about it. Or if I don't manage every detail or make sure something gets taken care of or something doesn't go my way, trust that that's how it was meant to go. And that's how it was meant to be. And trust that I'm supported by something greater. That my human mind only knows so much and that there's something so much greater supporting me and my higher self is really orchestrating everything exactly as it's meant to be. And that I don't have to hold it all, that I can actually start to release and to let go. And just notice as I say that, start to feel support and let go what you feel in your body. Because for me, for so long, when I felt like I couldn't have that support, I was just in this bracing state. Constantly, I didn't even realize how much I was bracing until I really started to actually look at it and really sit with my body and feel it. So notice what the difference of just feeling like you could be held. Can you even like lay yourself back on your chair and allow yourself to be held? Or if that even feels hard, if you're then scanning for what you need to do or who you need to call or just everything that you have in your life. So what does it mean about you if you ask for support? How does your ego feel about that? How does that shake up your identity? And just notice what comes up for you. So can you ask for support? Can you surrender and actually let it be done differently? Know that maybe you could have done it better or you would have done it differently, but it's okay. Or surrender and trust that everything is happening as it should. Can you start to release into that? Just micro steps. Or what is your relationship to that as I share it? And just notice. And see if in different areas of your life, if you can start to allow yourself to be supported. And see if you could have your husband maybe take care of a few things for you. Or your kids, maybe allow them to do some things more independently to grow that muscle for themselves. Or your friends, maybe you could start putting yourself first or start to share a little bit of what you're craving and what you're desiring in your own needs and see if they're able to show up for you. Or in your business, are you able to delegate some things? Start to see if slowly but surely you can test out this support and how that starts to feel for you and what resistance you might have around it. But also maybe start to show your mind, whoa, I actually can be supported. A lot of times we create these stories as women who hold it all that we can't be supported, that people won't support us, or they definitely can't support us in the way that we need them to. So just see if you can start slowly microdosing yourself with support, with seeing that support actually can be provided for you, that it is possible. And as you just sip in this little bit of support, I know for me, once I started asking for support and actually seeing how it felt and how good it felt in my system, even though it was so scary at first, it allowed me to start asking for more support and to start feeling more supported, feeling like I didn't have to fully hold it all. So start to see if you can flex that muscle. When we're holding it all in our lives, oftentimes we are managing our lives. We are so much more in the management mode than actually living, actually being present in our lives and just fully letting ourselves take in all that life has to offer. And this can ultimately dim our aliveness because we can get so exhausted or so overwhelmed from holding all these things. And a lot of times it's like we don't even want to, but we just feel like we have to. Like I was saying, the woman in my mastermind said, or we feel like it's the only way and we feel the safest that way. As we wear these masks and keep these guards up and we're not able to actually be our true selves and show our vulnerabilities and how we're feeling, and we feel like we can't be loved and accepted for who we truly are, even when it's not perfect, even when it's not strong, even when it's not capable, then that slowly seeps out the room in our life for desire, for play, for softness, for intimacy, for creativity. Because we're constantly managing how people see us instead of allowing ourselves to just be and trusting that that is okay, that that is enough, that we can just let go and that everything will be all right, that we can be held. And in that dims our aliveness because we're potentially in that hypervigilance or we're constantly feeling this fear that if we let go and we let our guard down, then something bad could happen and we could lose love. As I started off with this episode, yes, hold it all, do all the things, but I want you to do it in a way that is not abandoning yourself, that is not losing yourself in the process, and that is not at the expense of yourself and your aliveness. I want you to do it all in a way that feels alive to you, whatever that might be, whether you still hold all the things and you love the responsibilities, but you're making sure your needs are met and you're starting to share more of yourself, or you start to let some stuff go. Because that allows you to feel more alive. Play around with this and see what really feels the most alive for you. Only you are going to know, and there is no one right way. But just start to test. See, ooh, if I get support here, how does this feel? Ooh, if I share this little bit of myself, how does this feel? Ooh, if I just open up to this person, how does this feel? Ooh, if I share I'm not maybe capable at this, how does that feel? Just start to test these little bits and see, even in the fear, notice if that brings more aliveness and when you're actually met in that place. And as you start to let these masks down, as you start to be fully you, see if that brings in more space for you to desire, for you to play, for you to let that guard down, for you to let your hair down and just be and seize this life, feel alive and be in the moment versus managing it. I just want to clarify here, this is not about becoming careless, and it's not about giving up your responsibilities. It's about still being responsible. We'll always be responsible. We can get shit done. We know this. But where are we overfunctioning, and where can we recognize that in ourselves and realize that that's actually not the best thing for us, and come back to ourselves enough, be connected to ourselves enough to stop overfunctioning and actually ask for what we need and actually give ourselves what we need. And a lot of times when we're holding it all, it's so easy to overfunction because it can feel good. It can feel like this dopamine hit and we're so good at it. But start to notice where you start to feel a disconnect, where you feel like, oh, maybe this is a little too much. And see if in those moments you can come back to yourself and give yourself what you need. And can you give yourself grace and compassion and love? It could be so easy to beat ourselves up, to abandon our own needs, to feel like we have to do all these things for everyone else because they expect this and because we always have been that person. Can you start to come back to yourself and give yourself that love and realize, yes, people might have expected different things. We might have held different roles. But what's really the most true for me? What is going to support me the most? How can I hold it all, but with me at the center, with my own needs at the center? And what do I want to do here? What agency do I want to take? How do I want to show up? And how can I bring more of me into this? How can I bring more of me into my life? How can I share more of me with other people? How can I remove a bit of the mask and really just let me be seen? And even when I recognize it might not feel safe, can I maybe start to try it anyways and see if I can repattern this in my system? Again, like I said, this can take some really deep work. So I highly recommend, if you want to dig deeper into this, to sign up for my email list. It's in the show notes. I do free live webinars weekly where I really go into these different nervous system patterns so you can get a full understanding of why you are the way you are. And then we go into ways to work with these patterns to really support us in really unraveling any of the protective mechanisms that we have and becoming more of who we truly are. So you can sign up for that in my email list. I have a lot of other goodies that will come your way too. To close off this episode, I want to invite you to sit with these questions and just see what it brings up for you. Who would I be if I didn't hold it all? What am I afraid of if I let myself be held? Who would be disappointed if I stopped overfunctioning? And would it be okay to disappoint them, to no longer be disappointing myself? Who might rise if I stop rescuing? Who could actually grow from you, maybe not holding everything? And how would this shift the roles that I play in my life of the mom, the wife, the girlfriend, the career woman, the entrepreneur, the CEO, the friend? What would shift? So what would happen if you really let yourself be held? To summarize, as the woman who holds it all, I see you, I honor you, and I have such an ode to you. We are such amazing women. And I want us to give to ourselves all that we are giving to other people. I want you to be this woman who holds it all and do it in a way that's honoring who you are, your own needs, what you're desiring, and not losing yourself in that process. So I hope from this episode, that is what you really got today. You really saw a new way to look at this part of you. It really opened up some perspectives and allowed you to feel really seen and understood for who you are and for these identities that we carry, and allowed you to feel like you could maybe let a little bit go and remove some of the mask and really share and showcase who you are. Because I promise you, as scary as it is, and it might not always be received, I've dealt with a lot as I've unraveled in this. It feels so good to your soul and to who you are as you allow yourself to stop managing life, to stop checking and making sure you're always being seen as the capable and the strong one. And then when you allow yourself to really just open up and to become more you. I see you wherever you are, however you are. Like I said, I hope that you got a ton from this episode. And if you feel a little bit triggered, know that that's really good too. That's activating some things in you. Know that you are perfect just the way you are. And as the woman who holds it all, I'm not asking you to hold any less. I am just offering you a way to do so where you are really honoring your own needs and you at the center of it as well. And I believe that as we take more agency in our own lives, as we prioritize ourselves, as we allow ourselves to feel fully alive in life, we can create an amazing ripple in this world, and we can truly make a huge impact, whether in our own communities, in our own homes, or all throughout the world. So, with that, I love you and let's get nourished. If this episode resonated with you, I would absolutely love if you could like, share, and subscribe to this podcast and leave a 5-star review as well. It is my mission to support as many women as possible in truly coming back to themselves, rooting into who they truly are, and ultimately become nourished in all areas of their lives. I would absolutely love for you to join me on that mission and help spread this podcast to anyone who you feel that it would be supportive for. Also, it would mean the world to me if you could reach out to me on Instagram. My handle is in the show notes, and let me know how this resonated with you, what you are loving in the podcast, and what you would like to see more of as well, so we can deepen the relationship over there. If you'd like to take these principles deeper and really embody them on a next level in your own life, I invite you to join my email list. The link is in the show notes. I will be emailing you each week. I host live webinars digging even deeper into these concepts and how you can practically apply them into your own life so that you can fully become lit up by life, nourished in all areas, and really embody all of the principles that I share here on this podcast. So again, the link is in the show notes to join. I would absolutely love to have you on there. I provide a ton of value on my list, different practices you can do each week, the webinars that you can tune into, and a lot of other fun goodies as well. And you'll be the first to know about podcast episodes too. So again, hop on over to my email list so that I can fully support you even further, and let's get nourished.